Our next problem, we want to sketch x equals sine t, y equals sine squared t. If we would like, we could make a table of t and xy values, or you can notice that sine t is x, so we can actually write y equals x squared, giving us a parabola. Now we have to be careful because normally our parabola would go something like this. But since we have the parameter t, we should pay attention to what kind of values x can be. Thinking about the domain for t, the domain for t can be all real numbers, but the range for our x's will only be between -1 and 1 because x is equal to the sine of t. Similarly, if we're thinking about what kind of values y can be, the range of values that y can take would be the range of values that sine can take squared, which again is between, since we're squaring it, will be between 0 and 1. So our parametric curve is only from x equals 1 to x equals -1, is only this curve right here. Now we can see this using our graphing calculator if we set the mode to parametric mode. With the TI calculator, if you press mode and then the normal mode is function mode, arrow down and change it to parametric mode, and if we put in to graph mode, we'll see something that looks like this. And then if you enter sine t and sine of t squared, you end up with the parabola type graph. Now, there is something you should worry about and think about when you're in parametric mode. And if you go to the window, you'll notice that you have options for t. I have t min, t max, and t step. So here, what we're doing is we're talking about the values that we're allowing t to take and the resolution that we're going to use to plot these. So if t step is too large, our graph will look like a very jagged graph. If our t min and our t max aren't set properly, we might not see the whole graph. So in our problem that we have, if we let t be all real numbers, this parabola is just going to kind of loop back and forth between the points 1, 1 and -1, 1, and just kind of go back and forth like that. If to see this, we probably want to set our t min to be something large, and our t max to be something large, and our t step to be something small, so that we get a nice smooth trace of the graph. It's probably sufficient to go with 0 to 4 pi, since our sine graph is periodic, and our sine squared graph is also going to be periodic. I'm going to set my t step to something small, like pi over 12, and when I do this, then I get a pretty smooth graph. You should play with your settings and see how it changes the graph.